Today's session is Automating Job Submission, 5 Ways to Increase Your Efficiency. It is my pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, Karen Krepis, a trainer in our worldwide educational services department, and she will take us through today's presentation. So without further delay, let's get started. Karen, please take it away.
Thank you, Yael. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. As she said, my name is Karen Krepis, and I'm with our Educational Services team. And today, I'm going to cover automated job submission with Fiery. So today, you'll learn how Fiery can automate tasks to help you produce jobs faster, minimize touches, read your production output. So to take a quick moment is, do you ever ask yourself or find yourself performing repetitive job setup tasks again and again? Or do you have new hires or operators, perhaps that they're not as familiar with how to set up complex jobs, and it causes them extra time to set up the jobs, or they run into errors when they're printing? Or perhaps you're looking for ways to reduce costs for low-margin jobs. Well, if you've answered yes to any of those questions, then you are in the right place. And today we're going to give you some better information to help you manage your day-to-day. So a little bit about our agenda today. We know that today more than ever, we all need to be more efficient in our day-to-day tasks. And job automation really is the key to success when it comes to maximizing your time and your Fiery-driven printers. So in the session today, we'll focus on job automation and how Fiery can help your business be more efficient to produce more jobs per hour. We'll talk about 5 ways that Fiery can help automate your workflow and use the Power Workstation to further increase your efficiency. You'll learn how to produce jobs faster, minimize touches, reduce errors, and increase your production output to match the growing demands from your customers for short-run printing. For those that have attended previous World of Fiery sessions, you've learned some make-ready tasks, and today we want to show you how you can automate some of those tasks for your repeat jobs. In the end, only you will know which automation strategy method is best going to suit your needs. So for today, my goal is to be aware of the possibilities so you can decide. So job automation, it's really all about creating and sharing standardized workflows to help you achieve repeatable results. It's producing that same output for similar jobs consistently and accurately over time. So today we'll cover how Fiery job automation will help your business save time, which is really, efficiency is another way to describe that. So you'll really learn how you can set up a job once and quickly apply those settings to your new jobs. We also want to help you increase your output or speed, because the quicker that you get that job set up and submitted to your printer means your production output will increase. Faster job setup will not only increase your productivity without errors, but it's going to help your bottom line. Also, we want to help you simplify your setup to achieve quality. Minimizing those unnecessary touches will simplify those complex printing tasks for all of your operators. We all know that repetitive tasks waste time and cost you money. Every time your operators touch a job, it adds to production time and can increase the chance for mistakes. Fiery automation really is about getting it right the first time, and we'll also show you how you can include options to perform pre-flight and find errors before printing, giving you a chance to make corrections. And again, meeting the growing demands from your customer for shorter run printing. We know that you need to keep those repeat customers, and including any jobs that have low margin requires little to no operator intervention. So the workflow tools that we'll talk about today, we'll start off with server presets. We'll cover Fiery Imposition templates, virtual printers, Fiery hot folders. I'll give you an introduction to Fiery JobFlow, and then also the Power Fiery Command Workstation for your operators. But before we continue, I'd like to conduct a quick poll just to find out today which of these options you're currently using in your day-to-day. So just take a moment and make the selections of the items that you're using, and that'll help us gauge where you're at as we go through the presentation. Then later at the end of the presentation today, we'll come back and do another little poll just to see what new items you might have learned that you can implement in your day-to-day workflow.
Yeah, so the audience should now be seeing the poll. Take a second, give us your input about what you're using today. Karen will continue with the presentation.
Thank you, yeah. So a little bit about the automation, and it's really important to note that some of the options that we're going to cover today are not necessarily included with all the Fiery systems out there. So when you signed up for this session, you were provided some information with how to check what Fiery system version you have. And it's just important to note that there are some distinctions between the Fiery server and our embedded. And just really wanting to point out that with the server presets, if you have a Fiery System 10 or an FS100 Pro or even an FS150 Pro, you'll have access to all the options available today when you have a Fiery server. If you have an Fiery embedded controller, there is an optional Fiery hot folders and virtual printers option that you may need to have installed on your system to give you some of the added options. And if you have a System 9 or 2 or earlier system, you're not out of luck. There are still some options that you'll be able to tap into: printers, hot folders, and the local presets. So we'll come back and take a look at this. And when the poll closes, we'll take a quick look to see where you're at. And Yael, do we have the poll results? Great. Let's take a quick
Here you go. Here you go. You can see the results right now.
Wow. So what's really exciting is looks like a large percentage of you are familiar with Fiery Command Workstation, and some are using presets and impose templates today. And what we hope to accomplish today is to make you aware of these. So we'll take a look at the end, and maybe we'll come back and find that more of you might find how you can take those presets and apply them in some of the additional workflow options. Okay, well, let's begin with server presets, which really are the core for the Fiery automation. And we'll see throughout today's session that we'll be implementing these presets in all of our workflows. So a server preset is really a collection of all the job property settings that you need to produce a specific job once, or you need to produce a specific job. And it's really all about efficiency in action, where you define what you need for your job and save it as a preset with a custom name. These presets are selectable to apply to future jobs, and really it's reducing your setup time to one or minimal steps. So it's all the Fiery automation workflows. And there's a lot more on server presets. We'll touch on some general items today to make you aware. There's more information that can be available in the free e-learning courses that we'll be giving you for attending today's session, and also in the next World of Fiery webinar on tips and tricks of Command Workstation. There's some additional items that you might learn there too. So when we looked at the Fiery systems available, there was a distinction between server and local presets. So just to highlight, Fiery do include both kinds. The local presets are created and they're used only by the individual who created them, meaning they're available for the locally on the user that created them on their workstation. Server presets, on the other hand, are created by Fiery administrators, where they can set up the commonly used job properties, and they're stored centrally and accessed in Fiery Command Workstation. And really, it's allowing all your users to access the commonly used settings in all their workflows. And the administrators do have some control to allow you to manage and share these presets if you want to save and share them amongst your different Fiery systems. What's nice is it does provide a consistent user interface. It really helps it so all the users see the same options and gives them that consistency, whether they're using the print driver or job properties or hot folders or more. And it really is the foundational building block, because when you create a preset, you can add that into your additional workflows. What's nice is you also can take a server preset, begin with that, add some additional settings, and then make a new preset. And again, throughout the rest of the session, we'll access presets in our other automation workflows. But I'd like to begin with a brief demonstration just to show you how easily you can set up a job preset in Command Workstation. So I'm going to begin in Command Workstation Device Center Workflows. Here in Job Presets, I can see a listing of presets that I've already created, and by selecting one, I can view this. But let's go ahead and make a new preset for a common customer job. I'll name it FGS Booklet Gloss, and in the description, I can add some information so that others might know what this preset is intended for. Next, I can go ahead and define what job property settings are required to produce this job. Since this preset will be a unique version of a booklet, I can actually begin by applying a booklet preset that I've already created that has some finishing in it. I know the sterling gloss media, so I'm going to add the paper for both the body and the cover. And again, I can add any settings within the job properties that I'd like. Once I select OK, my preset is saved, and now I can go ahead and view the settings that I have. I can take a quick look and just make a confirmation that I've got all the settings that I need. So now, back in Job Center, the next time that I receive this customer, I can apply that preset in one step. Another way to create a preset is right from Command Workstation Job Properties. So if you've taken the time to set up a job that you know you're going to reuse those settings again, once you open the job properties, you can select presets, save a preset, go ahead, enter a name, and then identify if you'd like it to be a local or server. And I would like to point out and remind you that server presets do require administrator access. If I was logged into Command Workstation as an operator, I would have the ability to save a local preset only. So we'll go ahead and save that. And now we'll see back in Command Workstation, my preset has been applied. Again, creating the preset is reducing my job setup from many steps to only one. So throughout the presentation, we'll use that preset in some other automated workflows. So to summarize automation with presets, we begin with creating and define all the job property settings that you need to produce that specific document. And remember, you can start with a preset you already have and continue to build on that, or you can create a new preset from scratch, making your selections. Once you've created this preset, the Fiery administrator can actually choose to publish this as a virtual printer to apply it. And if you have sites that are using the Fiery hot folders installed, they could also create a hot folder to apply this preset. And all the Command Workstation users can apply this preset to new and existing jobs. And again, we'll continue to touch on this throughout the rest of the presentation. So the next method we can use to automate our workflows is with Fiery Imposition templates. So let's take a look at how that'll work. Fiery Impose is our page layout application, and it really allows you to customize what you're doing. It comes with some default templates for some common job setup that you might have, but your ability to create an unlimited number of imposition templates. So really, the idea is that you impose your job once and save that template for the next time you need to print a similar job. A great example of how Fiery Impose can save your setup time is really in imposing a business card. The gang up imposition type is one of the standard templates you can begin with, but you can add additional settings that you need for gutters or any page layout that you need. So in the end, your initial impose setup will take you 15 steps or more to identify everything you need. When you're done, you can save that as a preset. And what that's going to save you is up to 80% or more in terms of the steps that you want to use in the future. And again, after you save your new template, you can quickly apply it in Impose the next time you open a job, or you can apply it into the automated workflows. So let's take a look at how you can create your Impose template, and also I'm going to save it into a preset. So now I'm going to use a business card that I've already imposed to show how we can save that template for future use. Once I have it open in Impose, we can see that this was created with that default gang up template. If needed, I could make changes here, but I'm going to go ahead and save it and give it a name, and I'm going to enter business cards. So now that template is available the next time I open a job in Impose. But again, we'd like to show you can automate this even further. So let's go back into devices, and we're going to create a job preset. So we'll give this preset a name. We'll call it FGS Business Cards. And in this case, I'm going to note that this customer likes the Sterling Media. Now I can go ahead and define the job properties. So as I come into Impose and Layout, you notice that I see all the default templates as well as the business card that we just created. I'm also going to add some additional catalogs here, and again, to note that this customer prefers the Sterling Media. So now that I'm done, I can go ahead and select OK, and now I have a new preset with the name that we created, the FGS Business Cards. Now your print shop operator can quickly import the new business card file and apply that correct imposition template with a preset. It's really one-time setup ease, and it's really going to help you assure that jobs can be produced with minimal operator intervention. So again, with our Fiery Imposition, We began with creating a position layout. You can start with one of the default templates, add anything else that you need, and then save that as a custom template. Once we've saved it, we actually went to the next step to create a server preset to help us quickly apply that Imposition template. In a little bit, we'll show you how when we create a virtual printer, we can apply that Imposition template there, and also a Fiery Hot folder can also access that Imposition template. So again, we're just taking the process of building our automation with our presets, adding in an Imposition template, and now we'll take a look at how we can automate users applying this a little bit more. Virtual printers. Well, virtual printers, they're really, I like to think of them as an extension of presets. So let's see what this means. A virtual printer is really about helping users automate the file print process. And we really want to help users get what they need for printing a job in a really simple step. What it does is creating a custom that's available for both Windows and Macintosh users. And what's nice is that the administrator creates them and actually applies a custom name. Having a printer with the predefined job properties will really help making printing from your applications very easy, because users only need to select the printer that they need, and that way the job is submitted with all the right settings. An often overlooked virtual printer that I'd like to point out is customizing the default printer's hold and print. This is when you know that you want all the jobs that come to your Fiery. Perhaps you'd like them all to be printed two-sided or duplex. The administrator can make this the default parameter. So that way you're assured that any user that sends a job to print will always print in a two-sided fashion. Again, it's letting you control how you'd like your jobs to print. Now, there are some advantages that you have with virtual printers when we compare them with server presets. One is simplicity. Again, the user just needs to pick the specific printer. This will really help make it easy for those new hires, and as well as the vast operators that you have that are working with your system. Virtual printers also give you a little more flexibility, because if you think about it, you don't need to install all the virtual printers on every client. You really only need to install the print drivers for the specific output or the virtual printers that you need. So it really is helpful when you're trying to manage how certain users or groups are printing their files. It also adds customization. So for example, perhaps at your site you have more than one Fiery-driven printer, and you really have a series of different user groups, or perhaps you'd like to manage so that one of your specific printers only contains a certain media. Virtual printers will really let you set that up. And another common example might be if you have one specific group that they create training manuals. You might want to set up a configuration and create a virtual printer that's named training manuals. And how easy is that? The user just simply opens up their file, print, and they pick the training manual printer. Also, some additional advantages that you have over presets is the fact that with the virtual printer, you can also apply a job action. And the job action is what you'd like to have happen to the job after it gets to the Fiery. And common examples would be when you have the selection for print and hold or process and hold, for example. Also, virtual printer will also add the ability to perform a Fiery pre-flight. And Fiery pre-flight is a powerful tool really to hit a job if it has errors or issues, will not print, and will actually let the operator know what the problems are with the file so that it can be remedied. So again, it's giving you more control. So let's take a look at what we mean by virtual printers. So I'm going to build a virtual printer from that preset that we created earlier. So back in Device Center, I'll select the preset booklet gloss and choose to publish it as a virtual printer. So here's where I can enter that name that the users would see, printer. I can enter some information in the description again, so everyone will know what it's used for. Here's the job action I was referring to. In this case, I'll select print and hold, and then the pre-flight, again, I can enable what I would like to happen, and then I'll go ahead and select OK. So the virtual printer is being created, and as soon as it's done, I'll see a little message to let me know that it has been successfully created. Now I'll move over to virtual printers, where now we can see my new FGS booklet settings that are created. And I'd also like to call attention to one little thing with this little padlock icon. I didn't mention it earlier, but virtual printers also allow you to lock a specific option. And what's nice about that is a locked option means that the user, if they were to open the virtual printer properties, could see that an option is there, but cannot change it. So the power of what the administrator has is any lock setting is a setting that an operator cannot override. This gives you a little more control over what you are setting up. And even though we created the virtual printer by publishing, if needed, we could also go in and make some changes with the edits. So now back in Job Center, if I have a job that's already in the queue and I need to apply the virtual printer, again, by going into the workflow, I could simply right-click and apply that workflow immediately. And then for the clients that installed the print driver, they'd open the documents they need to print, they'd select File Print, and then in this case, we can see my FGS booklet is the virtual printer that I've selected. So again, virtual printer is really making it easy for your operators. So next, let's take a look at, again, summarizing what we did with the virtual printers. So we started with creating a virtual printer. And again, we might begin with a preset that we convert and publish into a virtual printer, or we could also go right to that virtual printer and simply create new. And remember that you also can modify your default print and hold queue because it's giving you some increased flexibility. And also you have the ability to add the job action as well as pre-flight, and those were settings that you did not have with the server preset. For any of your groups or users that need to produce that specific document, you'd want to install the printer on their systems. And then again, users are ready to begin submitting their jobs either by doing a file print or from Command Workstation drop zone. So next, let's take a look at Fiery Hot Folder without job submission without a print driver. Hot folders are really about assigning all the settings we need to a folder. And it's really a simple and automated way for users to submit jobs. What's nice about hot folders is it accepts native application files. So in this case, I do not have to have the application installed and select that I'd like to do a file print. So it's giving me some more flexibility there. What's nice about the hot folder is you convert that native file to PostScript or PDF based on how you've defined your hot folder. It also could be a shareable folder. Even though I might have a hot folder set up on my system, I could share that folder with other users, or perhaps you might even want to have the hot folders application installed on a server and then shared out for additional users. And again, the key is that there's no print driver. And users really have a lot of ways to submit jobs. They just simply have to drop their job into the hot folder where the Fiery identified, and all the job property settings would be applied. So flexible job submission, really there are multiple ways that a user can place a job into that hot folder because we know different users have different means that they like. And in the screenshot here, we're just seeing that I'm selecting a job, right-clicking, and selecting download to hot folder. But again, a user could drag and drop a job into the hot folder if that's their preferred method. Another advantage that you have with hot folders is not only can you add just a single file, but you can actually take a folder of files. And that folder could contain PDF files, for example, or JPEG files. And that's a feature that really might be helpful. Maybe you have multiple content creators that are all creating files that in the end, you need to combine into one document before you print it as a booklet, for example. Hot folders would let you take a folder of PDF files and drop it right into the hot folder where they're all merged at the Fiery for your output. Again, it is multiple file formats, so it's giving you some added flexibility. And even in the case of Microsoft Office, for example, if you have a lot of Microsoft Office Word documents or PowerPoint or Excel and you need to send them to the printer, hot folders would accept those files for submission. And I would like to mention that it does require a couple options to process the it does require an optional package if you'd like to process those Microsoft Office files. So there are some additional packages, and I'm referring to the Graphic Arts Package Premium Edition or the Productivity Package. And adding those options will increase the number of file formats that your hot folders can accept. So there's some advantages to hot folders, even as we compare it to presets and also as we compare it to virtual printers. So again, when we compare with the presets, a preset does not give you the ability to apply a job action or Fiery pre-flight, and those are some things that we do have available in our Fiery hot folders. When we specific with the virtual printers, again, the advantage here is that there's no print driver needed, and in terms of a job action, the hot folder is going to add an additional selection called Proof Print. And what Proof Print is really nice, when enabled, The Fiery system will produce one print and then place your job back in the hold queue. So with hot folders, it can be nice if you'd like to have a quick proof print of how the file came out. Maybe you need to have the customer prove it before you produce more. Proof print is a great utility to do that. Also, get accepted file format, so you don't need to have all the applications installed on your client. And again, the added flexibility of merging your file or folders. Those are things you don't have with the virtual printer. So let's take a look. I'd like to show you how Hot Folders works and show you how you can submit jobs really easily. So I actually have Hot Folders installed on my Windows client. And when I open the Hot Folder console panel, here I see all my created hot folders. Well, let's go ahead and make a new one. And we'll give it a name, in this case, .fgs booklet. Description, again, I could enter. Server name is where I'm identifying the Fiery that I'd like to send my file to. Again, in the job actions, here's where I have the ability to select proof print if needed. I think for this particular customer file, they often have me reprint jobs, so I'm going to select print and hold. Now I can assign the job properties. Here we see a list of all the server presets available, but if I go up to define, I'd like to show you that this will open the job prop I needed, go into layout, select impose, and here's where I could apply that impose template if it had not been saved as part of a preset. But I'm going to go back and select that preset that we created earlier for the booklet. There we go. And also I can see here the default input format. The edit would allow me to make some changes for that. Again, I'm going to add a pre-flight because I do not want the job to print if there is an error. So if there's a critical error, I'll have it hold the job. My hot folder, I'll see it appear, and really we're ready to start submitting jobs. So one method is if I choose to download files, I can browse onto my desktop, and let's find a file. Let's go with the catalog complete. I can select my file or files and submit. Also, I can browse to a file on my desktop or anywhere. I can right-click, and here's where I have the choice to download the hot folder, and here I see the list of the available hot folders. Also, I can drag a file onto the hot folder that I'd like to submit, and I'll copy that one here. So those are 3 ways. Also, earlier I mentioned that you can take a folder of files that you'd like to submit, and I actually have a folder containing 5 separate PDFs that I'm placing into a hot folder that I've asked to merge my PDF files. And as I come back into Command Workstation, we can see some of the files that we submitted to the hot folder, but this top one here, here's my combined PDF files, and as we scroll through, we can see the 5 pages that were in there. So again, hot folders is a great way to allow you to submit files without needing to have a print driver installed. So as we take a quick look back on hot folders, it's really creating that hot folder where you're defining the job properties. You could pick a preset, or you could browse to the properties as needed. Remember, you can define your job action, which includes proof print. You can add your pre-flight, and also you do have the ability to define what input formats you'd like that hot folder to accept. Open that up. Go ahead and share that out. That's optional if you need. And then you're ready to begin submitting jobs. So another means of automation that I'd like to share with you today is Fiery JobFlow. And although Fiery JobFlow is a separate product and not an option on the Fiery, I wanted to make sure you're aware of it because it's really all about automation, and it's about taking job automation to the next level. Fiery JobFlow is part of our workflow suite, and it's a browser-based pre-pressed workflow solution. It allows the administrator to create configurable workflows, and really each workflow includes some powerful tools to let you do PDF conversion, perform pre-flight, do some editing of files, document imposition, approval, job ticketing, and more. So it's really about taking beyond hot folders is what I really wanted to say here. And I'd like to point out just a few things that differentiate it from hot folders in just a moment. Also, I'd like to note that JobFlow really is a product that we designed for all print for pay shops. It's designed to be easy to install and implement. So we know that there's customer sites who might not have a robust IT department. You just need to make something really simple and easy to use. So just to give you a general idea of Fiery JobFlow, I'm going to be talking to the middle section here, which is really where we're identifying the workflow. And what is different about Fiery JobFlow from hot folders, for one, is the input sources. Hot folders, as you saw, we created the folder, and all jobs must be routed into that one specific folder. JobFlow is giving you some more flexibility because it's going to allow you to define under this job submission section how you'd like customers to be able to submit their jobs. And each workflow actually can accept files from multiple input sources. So once the job is in, it'll go through a convert process where it will convert it to PDF. From there, pre-flight is performed. And another distinction with JobFlow is it does include and focus Professional 12. So not only can you identify the specific pre-flight that you'd like to be performed, you can also add in some corrections and some post-flight. So it's going to give you some more sophisticated control over what's happening with the file to find errors and correct those errors. In post, Fiery JobFlow does tap into the Fiery Imposition templates that are available on your Fiery system, and also to let you apply an image-enhanced visual editor, tapping into the automation that you have built into your Fiery. Another distinction between Fiery JobFlow and hot folders is with the Approve module. JobFlow allows you to set up some rules so that you can have designated approvers who would receive an email so that they would have a chance to take a look at a proof of the file and do an approval before printing. It's giving you some additional notifications. Once the file is ready to go, then it's sent on for output where it can be sent to either your Fiery server or to a Fiery Central server designating approve. And in the output module, here's where you would have access to select one of the Fiery server presets. And one other distinction I wanted to call attention to with JobFlow in comparison with hot folders is it also allows you to select one of your source locations to archive the file. So it's really taking what you're able to do with hot folders and just giving you some added flexibility with how you're receiving the files, what you're able to do with the files, and how you're able to do some communication. And if you're about Fiery JobFlow, I would encourage you to sign up for a free 30-day trial. So if you go to our website at www.efi.com/Fiery JobFlow, you can register for your 30-day trial where you can obtain your software. This does also include a free e-learning course so you can learn how to use it. And again, the keys that we talked about and that I want you to take away is that Fiery JobFlow will help you apply your Fiery automation that you already have with your presets, your Impose template, Image Enhanced Visual Editor presets as well, but also that it includes in Focus Professional to give you an extra level of checking and correcting. Also, it adds some additional communications in the form of notifications and approvals, as well as giving you some flexibility to archive. So now that we've taken a look at 5 ways that you can automate your job workflow, let's kind of think back up on Fiery Command Workstation, because here it's really about the everything and really make sure that your operators know everything that they need to really maximize their efficiency. We know that Command Workstation, it gives you that centralized job management, and also it lets the Fiery administrators create and modify any of the workflows in the form of the presets, the virtual printers, and the Impose templates. And those administrators do have some ability to share those presets amongst other Firies, as well as control which settings are. But the other thing that we wanted to show is that with Command Workstation, for your operators, it's giving them the ability to apply those workflows. And also, I wanted to touch on today a companion product with Command Workstation and the Fiery is Fiery Go. And that's our application that you can run on either an iPad, an iPhone, or an Android phone or tablet. And really it lets you remotely access the Fiery and tap into some of the workflow in the form of server presets. So throughout each release, really have been listening to our customers and adding in some additional ways in Command Workstation with how you submit your jobs. And these are the 5 methods that we're going to take a look at in a demonstration. Drop zones is where we'll begin, and drop zones is a feature that really helps users know where they're placing the file. And we'll talk about these in a little demonstration here. So let's go ahead and show you. So I'll start off by dragging and dropping a file onto one of the queues. And here we can see the drop zone highlight and shade to show where I'm placing the file. I'm going to go ahead and drop it onto that servers list pane where I see a window that allows me to access one of my workflows. I see the server presets and virtual printers. Notice also I do have some ability to select one of the job actions, process and hold, printer hold, or I could even have that job go right to the hold queue. Also, if you choose to file import a job, you'll see the same window where now you can browse to select the files that you'd like and then you can apply the workflow, and you're ready to go. In my held queue, perhaps I applied it with a drop zone into the held queue or a job that's already there. I can click in this workflow column, and I can select the workflow that I'd like. Also, I can right-click on a job, select Apply Workflow, and then from the flyout menu, I also have access to the server presets and the virtual printers. And don't forget that you also can access the preset from within the job properties. So as you open the job properties, you'll have a list of. So again, that's 4 different ways that you can quickly apply an automated workflow when you have a job or you're bringing it into Command Workstation. I also wanted to touch on Fiery Go. So this is my iPhone, and I'm currently connected up to one of my Firies, and I'm selecting the hold queue so I can see jobs that I have. I'm going to pick that business cards, and here's where I can see the file that I've selected, and here I have a choice to apply a preset. So I'm going to go ahead and select to apply a preset. Here I'll see the list, and I'm going to go with the business card. Notice I also could change the number of copies that I need. I'm going to go with 5, and then I'll send my job to print. And again, what's nice about Fiery Go is it gives me that remote access, so no matter where I am in my office, I can monitor my jobs and see what's happening. So again, we've taken a look at Command Workstation to really show how it can really tie in all the automated workflows. So we've looked at a lot of things this morning, and really, how do you know which automation strategy is right for you? Well, you might want to start with looking at what types of documents do you need to print. Are you a PDF native end-to-end, or are you dealing with PostScript where you're printing for your native application, or perhaps you're dealing with other formats. Maybe you have JPEG files or something else. Well, if you have a PDF file, clearly we see that Hot Phones is a great way to route your job in. Also, if you have Command Workstation drop zones, you can send that in. Because again, remember, if you have a PDF file, you really don't need to open it in Adobe Acrobat and select File Print. You want to get that job right in. If you've got a PostScript file where you're printing from the native applications, you're installing a print driver, so you could select the default Fiery Printer hold. Remember, you could modify that too. I could assign a preset, or I could install a virtual printer. If you've got other formats, hot folders might be the route that you'll want to take a look at. And again, with some of the formats, it may require an optional package installed with the Graphic Premium Edition or the Productivity Pack. And if you're a site where you receive jobs from really a lot of different customers, all different job formats and different print requirements, perhaps Fiery JobFlow might be the avenue for you. So let's do a little quick review. So we've taken a look at Fiery automated workflows today, and I've shown you how you can increase your efficiency by really setting up that job once and saving it in a workflow that you can apply. And again, that's where have your time savings, maybe 80% or more of your job setup time. I've shown you how you can increase quality by reducing errors with that consistent job setup, because again, with that automated workflow, all the settings are predefined, makes it easy for the operators to get what they need the first time out. You're going to increase your speed and production printing because you'll get more jobs to the printer faster. And also we know that by eliminating waste and reducing touch points, it's also going to increase your profit and help costs. So now that we've seen a few different ways of how we can automate workflows, we'd like to open it up to do another quick poll to see if anything that you've learned today is something you can add into your day-to-day.
So we have the poll open. Take a minute here to let us know, based on what you learned from Karen's wonderful presentation, what do you think you're going to be adding on to your workflow in your shop or business? And as you do that, Karen, you can continue with the rest of the presentation.
Thank you. Yeah. So again, with automation workflows we looked at again was we started off with server presets, which again really was the core for automating our workflow. From there, we actually created an impose template where we added it to a preset. We then actually created a virtual printer to apply that preset and out a hot folder. I introduced you to Fiery JobFlow to really show you how you can further add some automation into your workflow, and then also the power of Command Workstation for your operators and allowing them to use and apply all these automation workflows very quickly and easily. So in a moment, we'll take a quick look at how the poll results showed, and I'll be interested to see if anybody has decided that there's another option that might benefit them and help them to become more efficient.
Yeah, so the poll is closing. Let me present the results. Here you go.
Here
What
we
do you
go.
think?
So it looks like, well, it's exciting as we've got some more of you that have identified that virtual printers and hat folders are something you can use, and even a few of you that looks like you might be signing up for that Fiery JobFlow free trial. So that's great. And again, really just hope that you can take something away that will help you in your day-to-day.
Wonderful. Great.
So a little bit about additional resources. One thing we'd like to offer is some free e-learning. So all those that have registered, there's a free course bundle, 3 courses that we're going to offer you. One is Fiery Command Workstation to really help you learn about the interface if you're not real familiar. Creating automated workflows will really tap into, again, a little bit more with the server presets and virtual printers, how you're managing all that with your hot folders, and also Fiery Tools for Job Management. We'll also include a little bit more with Fiery Go. So these are a great reference and resource for you. Basically, you'll receive an email with all the details and how it works, and you will need to sign up and begin your coursework before the end of the year. I'd also like to point out that the next webinar is coming up on November 12th, and the topic here is tips and tricks for Fiery Command Workstation. So even though you might be familiar with Command Workstation, there might be some little built-in shortcuts or workflows that you might not be familiar with, and even if you're familiar, I think you might find something new that you didn't know. But the key is really to register now, and also will receive access to the free Introduction to Fiery Command Workstation course. And we really do recommend, if you're not familiar with Command Workstation, take that course before the next webinar, and that'll really help you gain a little bit more and really maximize what you're getting. But there's even more. So we also like to offer an exclusive offer for you, for anybody that attends both sessions, and that's really to take your learning to the next level, where we'd like to offer you 10% off our Fiery Professional Certification Program. We're really ensure you've got the foundational knowledge on the Fiery, and there's some additional benefits that come with being a Fiery certified professional. So make sure you register for that second session. Also, for any of our users, if you're not familiar with this, if there's anything that you need to know about the Fiery products or what might be available, just go to resources.efi.com/Fiery. And here on this one page, it's really your one-stop shop. Here you'll have access to any of the product downloads. Perhaps you need the new version of Fiery Command Workstation, access to the Fiery JobFlow trial we have here. Also quick links to any of the how-to guides, online help, and any of the e-learning. So it's really a great reference and resource to find anything Fiery. Also for those interested in MIS, there are some additional product reviews and demonstrations coming up for both Monarch and PACE, and you can see some of the dates that are available here. And there is a website that you can register for some of these webinars.
All right.
So with
Wow.
that, thank you. Open up for some questions.
Yeah, so we've already had quite a number of questions come in, so I want to take a minute and let Karen start looking at those and reiterate what I said at the beginning of the presentation. We did record today's presentation, as we've done with all our previous World of Fiery webinars, and the recording will be made available to you within a few days. We'll send out links, as we will also provide all the great resources that Karen mentioned, probably with some other things that will be helpful for you as you kind of start looking at the workflows and presets and all the wonderful other options that we covered today. A link to a PowerPoint or a PDF of the PowerPoint will also be available so that you can download that. I know a couple people asked that as well. So all that will be available to you. Within a few days, you'll get an email with a link to a landing page, which will provide you access to all the information and resources. So Karen, are you ready to start tackling questions?
Yes.
Great.
So I see we have a question. Can you tell us how to know which Fiery we have? So again, this is important to know which Fiery you have in terms of which options you have. So when you connect Command Workstation to your Fiery, change your view to Device Center, and in the General tab, there's actually a field that describes which Fiery system software version your Fiery has, And also there's another section there that lists out which options you have installed, such as the Graphic Arts Package Premium Edition. Have another question about, can you set up a preset for hang tag step 6 up? So in Impose, you do have the ability to create an imposition template for gang up and repeat a page multiple times on the sheet. So you could template and then use that in your automated workflows like the server presets and hot folders that we showed here today. And I should make sure that you know that gang up and repeat a hang tag multiple times across the sheet. So again, in Impose, you can create an imposition template that allows you to create that page layout. Another question, our Command Workstation Workflow tab only contains the button for virtual printers, but not presets. Is this an add-on function? Well, if your Workflow tab only contains the button for virtual printers, most likely you're connected to a Fiery that's running System 9 Release 2 or earlier, because the Presets tab will only appear on Fiery systems that are running System 10 or newer. So the server presets, again, are available on System 10 and newer Firies, and I'm sorry to say there's not an option available for System 9 Release 2 or earlier. So for those earlier systems, you'd have local presets, but not server presets. So leading into that, if you have a System 9R2, there are some options on how you can modify the default for the print and hold queue. So in the demonstration, we showed that in System 10, we talked about that you can modify that default print and hold queue. But if you have a 9R2, for example, what you can do is unpublish the existing print queue and then create and publish your very own print virtual printer that has all the specific job settings that you need, like duplex. So another question, we have 13 Fiery servers. That's awesome. I would like to see options for maintaining synchronization of the presets. So that's a great request, and it's something that we are looking at. Today, what you can do is it's possible to export a list of presets from your Fiery. You can then import that list into another Fiery server, and when you import that, you'll have an option of either replacing the preset in the target Fiery, or it can merge the imported list with the existing presets on the target Fiery. Again, there is a way that you can do that utilizing the import-export. And in the eLearning course on automating workflows, it'll touch on how those features work if you'd like more information too. Let's see, so we have another question about, I have hot folders installed but do not have the option to submit Microsoft documents. Well, if you remember, you do need to have a copy of Microsoft Office on your system, and this is for Windows workstations only. So unfortunately, this is not supported for Macintosh clients today. And also, your Fiery must have that required package of the Graphic Arts Package Premium Edition or the Productivity Package. Question, are you going to cover installing the virtual printer on a client machine? Well, we won't be covering the installation of virtual printer on a client machine, and there's a how-to on virtual printers on our how-to site, which is Automate Job Submission from the application that describes this process. You can find that from that resources.efi.com site. And also in the e-learning courses, you can find more information on installing that virtual printer also. Let's see, another question again about that lock icon. So we saw that lock icon come up in virtual printers. Any setting that the administrator chooses to lock, that's a setting that the user cannot override. So it allows the administrator to control which settings everyone must use when they produce a specific job, and anything unlocked means that you have some flexibility that users can make some changes on that. Let's see, another question about hot folders. In an environment where a large network, where you have multiple physical locations are part of the environment, should the hot folder application be installed on a server within each of the subnets where the Fiery RIPs are installed? And let's see, well really this all depends on the details of your network. Hot folders can run on a server where the folders can be shared to users. The rule of thumb that I like to recommend is to make sure that each hot folder application is running on a dependable and always accessible server. and I'd err on the side of multiple copies of hot folders running, balanced by the effort that's going to be required for you to maintain them. Let's see. Oh, here's another question on hot folder. If I drop a folder of PDF files or JPEG files onto hot folder, how do I control the order? So if you recall, we said if you place that folder into your hot folder, it will merge all the files. And the answer really is that depending on how you've sorted that folder, that's how it's applied. So if your folder is sorted by date, then that's the order that the pages or jobs will be merged. If it's sorted by name, then the alphas will apply. Let's see, another question on JobFlow, again, asking what version of PitStop is included. And Fiery JobFlow will include the InFocus PitStop Professional 12, and then again, that is included as part of that trial package. Let's see here. What software do customers outside of our operation need to use hot folders on their workstations? Can we create and automatically make available to customers without our intervention electronic PDF proof of files submitted via hot folders? So to get proofs to customers, we'd actually recommend using JobFlow's approval steps to get proofs to the customer. Hot folder itself does not have the option to send a proof to the customer. And again, with JobFlow, it will send an email to the designated approver where they can view a proof of the PDF and then reply with their approval if they're good to go. Let's see, what else do we have here? Do you need to have hot folders installed when using Fiery JobFlow? No, you do not need hot folders to use Fiery JobFlow because JobFlow actually monitors the specified folders as part of its workflow, and that was the input sources where you can define that. Let's see. Oh, somebody's just updated their Mac to the newest OS Yosemite and is asking, where or when can I get print drivers for the newest Mac OS Yosemite? Well, actually, on EFI's main page at EFI.com, we have posted a link to the drivers for download because they are now available on our download site. So you can take a look for that there. Let's see. Are hot folders also an add-on function? Well, if you, hot folders and virtual printers are standard with all the external Fiery servers and are available as a purchasable option for the embedded servers. And I would mention that there are some specific embedded Fiery servers that do bundle the hot folders and virtual printers with their product. So again, you can check in your Command Workstation Device Center to see if you have the option installed. Let's see, another question. How many server presets create? Well, I would say virtually unlimited. I don't know if most sites would want to have hundreds and hundreds of server presets, but you certainly could create them. And you do have the ability to use publish and unpublish to help you control which ones are active at any one time. That might be a way that you might want to manage them. Let's see, what else? The customer's asking about the graphic arts package premiums with PitStop. And if I get JobFlow, will I have 2 copies of PitStop? And if you recall, the Graphic Arts Package Premium Edition, it does not come with PitStop. It's actually Fiery Impose, Fiery Job Master, and Fiery Compose all come with PitStop Edit. But Fiery JobFlow is what includes PitStop Professional, and that has even more functionality than the PitStop Edit. And let's see. A question on Fiery Go, will it work with Android phones? And the answer is yes. With our newest release that we just released in the last couple weeks, Fiery Go will work with an Android phone. Let's see. A question on pre-flight options. So, we talked about pre-flight, that you could enable automatic pre-flight in a virtual printer or hot folder. And users asking, where do I see the pre-flight report? And actually, there's a couple ways you can view this information in Command Workstation. The first is in the job summary pane on the right side of Command Workstation. It'll let you know if pre-flight was performed on a job. And actually, if it was performed, there's a little link there that'll indicate the date and time that pre-flight was performed, and if you click on that, the pre-flight report will actually open. And another way you can view it is when you select your job in Command Workstation, under the Actions menu, you can select to view that pre-flight report as well. Let's see, we'll do one last question here. A user, I create workbooks using the Notes pages from PowerPoint tabs and a cover page. This uses mixed media, and I'm currently using Compose to put the books together. Could I automate this more using a hot folder, or am I misunderstanding how this works? So let's see. Think about this. If you start with PDF pages, you could use hot folders to automate this as long as the mixed media settings are applied to the exact same page ranges between the jobs, then this would work. But if your page counts vary between jobs, it might be easier just to stay with Compose. But it is possible to use hot folders to get all those files sent to the Fiery and combined together, and then you could use Compose for the individual job settings. And if you're doing something extremely repetitive, there's a good chance that one of these automated tools will help you save time.
All right, so I know we have a lot of questions we didn't get to. We had a bunch of questions still. So again, as I mentioned, if we didn't get to your question, we'll get back to you directly through email. We've just run out of time. We want to respect everybody's time. Hopefully the fact that we had all these questions means this was great information for you, and the information was engaging. So with that promise, I want to thank the audience for staying with us throughout the presentation. Hopefully you found this very useful for your business. I want to thank Karen for the wonderful information she shared with the audience. And hopefully, as Karen mentioned, we'll see you in a few weeks when we go through tips and tricks for Fiery Command Workstation. And again, we want to make sure that you take advantage of the free e-learning course on Command Workstation so you come prepared with the basics. Take advantage of that, and we'll see you then. Have a great day.